Hello, my fellow book lovers. Welcome back to another episode. And today we are in for an extra special treat because I am going to be talking about one of my favorite books of all time. The Stand by Stephen King is a post-apocalyptic horror novel published way back in 1978, and it tells the story of a world ravaged by a deadly virus that wipes out 99% of the population. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of familiar right now, but trust me when I say this book is so much more than just a pandemic story. It is a story about good versus evil, about hope and despair, faith and doubt, Mother Abagail versus Randall Flagg. The story revolves around survivors from different walks of life who come together to face the aftermath of this global catastrophe. We meet characters like Stu Redman, Franny Goldsmith, Nick Andros, Larry Underwood and Tom Cullen, just to name a few. They all have to deal with their own personal struggles and demons, while also trying to build a new society from scratch in the ruins of the old one. Along the way, they encounter all sorts of challenges and dangers from other survivor groups, from nature itself, and from the supernatural forces that seem to be manipulating events behind the scenes. Now, if you've seen the 1994 miniseries, then you already know that the story takes place over several months following the super-flu pandemic caused by Project Blue. America is a ghost town. Most people have been killed by Captain Trips. Some people were saved by Mother Abagail. A handful of people survived but don't know it yet. Our story follows them through their struggle to survive and their search for meaning in a world that has been turned upside down. There is no denying that King paints a bleak picture of the future. But there is also no denying that he does it in such a vivid and immersive way that you feel like you are right there experiencing it all alongside the characters. You feel their pain, their fear, their anger, their love, their hope, and their faith. You also see how they grow and change as individuals and as a community. You see how they overcome their differences and their weaknesses, and how they discover their strengths and their potential. You see how they create a new community based on cooperation and compassion rather than competition and greed. But let's be honest here, folks. This is not a feel-good story. This is a horror novel, after all. And King does not shy away from showing the darker aspects of human nature, the violence, the cruelty, the selfishness, the fanaticism. You will definitely encounter some truly disturbing scenes and characters in this book, like the trash can man, or the kid who shoots Larry in the back, or the people who worship Randall Flagg as the Dark Man. These are the kinds of things that will make you question the humanity of humanity. However, I think that these dark elements serve a purpose in the story. They show us what we stand to lose if we let our worst instincts take over us. They remind us why we need to strive for goodness and light instead of darkness and despair. They also make the victory of good over evil all the more satisfying and meaningful. I think that's what makes The Stand such a powerful and resonant story. It is a story that has something to say about the nature of good and evil, about the power of hope and faith. It is a story that challenges us to be better people and to fight for a better world. It is a story that will stay with you long after you finish reading it. So if you haven't read The Stand yet, I highly recommend that you do. It is a must-read for any fan of Stephen King or of post-apocalyptic fiction. It is also a great starting point if you want to get into horror or if you want to explore the depths of human nature. And if you have read The Stand, then I would love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. What did you think of the story, of the characters, of the ending? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did it scare you? Did it inspire you? I'm really curious to see what kind of reactions it evokes in people. Now let's talk a little bit more about the characters. As I said before, we have a large cast of characters to root for and against. There are some great characters in this book. I mean, Mother Abagail, she is the Mother Teresa of the apocalypse. She is wise, compassionate, and mysterious. She is the leader of the good side, and she represents motherly love, kindness, and faith. Then we have Randall Flagg, who is the embodiment of evil, the devil himself. He is charismatic, manipulative, and cruel. He is the main antagonist, and he represents everything that is wrong with humanity. And of course, we have to talk about Trash Can Man, one of the most iconic villains in horror literature. He is disgusting, sadistic, and terrifying. He is the product of abuse and trauma, but he still chooses evil. Then we have the rest of the gang, like Stu, Franny, Nick, Larry, Tom, Glenn, Nadine, Lloyd, and so on. They are all very well developed and believable characters. They are all very flawed and human characters. They are all very complex and interesting characters. They are all very brave and resourceful characters. I love how they interact with each other, how they form bonds and alliances, how they betray each other, how they challenge each other, how they learn from each other. They are all very dynamic and engaging characters. They are all very important to the story, and they all contribute to the overall message of the book. One of the things that I admire about King's writing is his ability to create characters that are both relatable and larger than life. He makes them feel like real people, yet he also gives them extraordinary qualities and destinies. He makes them feel like people you could meet in real life, yet he also makes them feel like heroes and heroines of a myth. Now, if you've seen the mini-series, you might have some opinions about the character portrayals there, which is totally fine. Personally, I think they did a pretty good job considering the source material, but of course, you can never fully adapt a book to screen without losing something in translation. Each medium has its own strengths and limitations. Another thing that I admire about The Stand is the way that King weaves magic and the supernatural into the narrative. He doesn't do it in a heavy-handed or preachy way. He does it in a subtle and suggestive way that leaves room for interpretation and wonder. He makes you feel like there is something beyond our understanding at play in the world, but he never fully reveals it to you. He makes you feel like the characters are guided by forces beyond their own, but he never fully explains those forces to you. He makes you feel like there is more to the story than meets the eye, but he never fully spells it out for you. Overall, I think The Stand is one of King's best and most ambitious works. It is a book that defies easy categorization. It is a book that blends genres and conventions. It is a book that appeals to fans of horror, fantasy, science fiction, drama, romance, and more. It is a book that has something for everyone. It is a book that is not for everyone. It is a book that is a challenge, but also a reward. If you want to know what happens next in the series, please click the link in the description box below to watch the next episode, where I'll continue telling you about the plot and discussing my thoughts on the amazing characters and themes of this epic tale. Thank you so much for listening and watching this far. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow book lovers. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to join me on this journey through literature, and don't miss any new episodes. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.